Hello, you're watching Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. I'm very much in the bottom of this shot because it's not been lined up since we got here. Merry Christmas to everyone. We're here for the team news from Man United versus Newcastle. Oh, I'm rushing around. I'm out of breath here. Let us know what you think the team is going to be today. Let us know who your key man is. Obviously, all eyes on Paul Pogba after his return from injury in the last game. Hello, Jacob. You're back, obviously. If you went before we had a podcast and Jacob OC was being impersonated by a rival Jacob OC and he had to sort of take some time away. But he's back now. The team is out. Let's just have a look at that. That's on Man United's Twitter, obviously. It's going to be an interesting one, actually. I think we've seen the same team 3 times in a row for United now. I assume that is likely to change. Here's the team. Then we've got David De Gea in net, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Maguire and Luke Shaw as the defenders, same as we've seen in recent weeks. We've got McTominay, Fred, Greenwood, Andreas, Rashford, Martial. No Pogba is probably the key headline there. Andreas comes back in the team for Lingard. Greenwood comes into the team for Dan James. I'll be honest, it's an unexpected lineup for me. Let us know what you think to the team. Obviously, again, no Pogba in the starting lineup. He is on the bench, though. So the bench in full is Sergio Romero, Phil Jones, Ashley Young, Jesse Lingard, Juan Mata, Paul Pogba, and Dan James. A bit of an interesting one there. Andreas, who's been, out of form and out of favour certainly in recent weeks, making his way back into the starting lineup for. I wouldn't say it's a must-win game, but it's certainly the sort of game that we've been struggling to win in recent times, and it's something that United need to change if they want to build their way up the table. But I must say, I'm surprised that Pogba isn't playing. Happy belated birthday, Jesus! Thank you. Not heard that one actually yet, so thanks. Twanzebe should be starting. That's the word from Super Red Fan 15. I think as much as I like to see him start, I don't think many people expected him to start today. We've seen Maguire and Lindelof pretty much cement that starting partnership for United in recent weeks. Pogba still not match fit. I guess not. I assume not. I think we've seen already this season with Pogba bringing him back too early from injury that caused a recurrence and then an even further injury against Arsenal and then Rochdale then Arsenal. I can't remember which way around that was, but he presumably isn't match fit. Solskjaer trying his best to get sacked with this lineup. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. I think he thought, you know what I'd like to do this Christmas? I'd like to get sacked, so I'm going to start Andreas and I'm not going to start Pogba. So, good on him. I'm confident today. Jacob's confident. He's still confident now. You've seen the lineup. That he said that before the lineup came out. Prajwal Yash is not exactly keen on this. He says, what the mother F, etc. Pogba might not be match fit exactly. What does Ole see in Andreas that no one else can see? I would guess energy, work rate, something that, if we're looking at a lack of Pogba in this team, he's one of the few players that can bring the ball out from midfield and bring it up to attack. I know Lingard's good at that, but I'm not quite sure why Andreas has come back in the team, because it did seem as though Solskjaer kind of that Andreas had fallen out of favour with Solskjaer. Lingard starting, I think, the last 3 games and has seemingly pushed Andreas down the pecking order. But obviously, he's back in now. As we've got the graphic here. Again, let's go over that team. Then we've got David De Gea, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw at the back. That seems to be the first choice nailed on back 5 now. Same with McTominay and Fred there as the holding midfielders. And then I would guess it's going to be Greenwood on the right, as we've seen from him in Europe and in the league so far this season. Andreas behind Martial with Rashford on the left. It's an interesting one. An unexpected lineup. Obviously, Greenwood hasn't started many games, certainly in the league. I think he's only made 1 or 2 starts. I think he's only started 1 game in the league this season, actually. So I'm surprised to see him over James. Maybe he thinks that goal threat of Greenwood is something that we need. He talked last week about how he's making it difficult to be dropped, Greenwood, with his goal scoring that we've seen from him, especially in Europe. I think 5 goals he scored in the Europa League. But then he went on to start James even after praising Greenwood. So it's probably been a sort of week in the making, this lineup with Greenwood starting over Dan James. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting lineup, one that I don't think many people would have predicted. So if you were betting on that, I think you'd have been very lucky to get that one right. Andreas again, yeah, I love Ole, but man, he does some weird stuff. Other than naming slightly fringe squad players, I don't know how much weird stuff he does. I've never seen him do anything that weird. Disappointed not to see Williams. Yeah, again, not in the squad, Williams. We've not heard anything here or any rumours, any grapevine, anything about that. I haven't even seen any speculation, articles, tweets, anything as to why Williams has fallen off, not even in the squad anymore, after seemingly starting well. And it looked like he'd almost got himself to be the first choice left back for a while there, but he's been out of the squad for the last few games, so it seems as though Solskjaer's changed his mind, or is maybe trying to bring him in slowly, or he's seen something from him in training that he's not happy with. Maybe he's picked up an injury. We're not exactly sure about that. Is Twanzebe injured again? There was a mention of that, actually. I saw that a couple of days ago, that he did something in training. I'm not quite sure the extent of that injury. I don't think there's been any public comment on that other than mention of it in articles. But yeah, it seems as though he has picked up some kind of injury. Rest in Pogba, as we've got a lot of games coming up and he isn't fully match fit. Yeah, you can see why Pogba wouldn't start. He's been out for 3 months. He played 30 minutes-ish against Watford the other day. So it's not really a surprise that Pogba isn't starting. I think obviously we all hoped he would start, considering how well he performed in that game and how much we've missed that kind of creative outlet in the midfield. But I think it's not exactly a surprise that he hasn't started. I say what is a surprise is that he's been replaced with Andreas instead of Mason Greenwood, and Andreas instead of Jesse Lingard, who had been in that spot, and then of course Mason Greenwood on the right hand side in for Dan James. But that is going to be the team news for now. We will be back quarter to the game, 5:15 for a watch along with me, Alex, and Ronaldo on that. So be sure to join us for that. Thank you for joining us for this video, and we'll see you next time.